Well, corporate leaders are getting millions, while some former Bon-Ton employees say they're walking away empty-handed after decades with the company.
And the I-Team's Casey Geraldo found out it may be unfair, but it's all perfectly legal. Casey.
That's right, Stephen Carroll. We learned companies headed for bankruptcy will give big bonuses to keep higher-ups around, and that's what happened at Bon-Ton. We talked with a former employee who wonders what happened to the company's integrity after they shut down offices and eliminated jobs, giving employees pennies compared to what they'd put in.
Had I been impacted by a layoff or something prior to the bankruptcy, I would have been a lot better off.
This Wisconsin woman is back on the job hunt after learning her employer of more than 25 years filed for bankruptcy and she lost her job. She agreed to speak with the I-Team anonymously.
I really felt like myself and the rest of our teams were cheated.
For all her years, she got this severance notice. What was it that you would have had?
It was worth close to $70,000.
Instead, this now former employee will get about a fifth of what she's owed, thanks to a federal law that limits employee payouts to $12,850 when a company files for bankruptcy.
The trouble in a bankruptcy is there's never enough money to pay everyone, because if there was, you wouldn't be in bankruptcy.
Bankruptcy attorney Jerry Kirkman says there's a slim chance Bon-Ton employees will see the rest of what they're owed.
And in many of these cases, like I would expect Bon-Ton, you're going to get pennies on the dollar.
It was a tough pill to swallow for this longtime employee, but not the toughest.
It's worse when you find out that those higher up, are getting much more than any of us did.
Bon-Ton's handed out millions of dollars to executives, even leading up to filing for bankruptcy. The I-Team looked through bankruptcy court filings and found the company gave out $2 million in retention bonuses to 3 major players just 3 months before filing for bankruptcy. The chairman of the board resigned in May 2017, but still works for Bon-Ton, making $450,000 a year, with $175,000 as a bonus. The last president and CEO also resigned, leaving with a $500,000 bonus and an extra $100,000 for moving expenses. Just over a month before the filing, a new executive vice president scored a $600,000 salary, a $600,000 bonus, up to $50,000 in commuting costs, and the potential for $900,000 in bonuses. In case you've lost count, that's more than $4.7 million.
There's a balancing. You want to keep people running the company. On the other hand, you don't want all the money going out the door.
Kirkman says court-approved high-dollar bonuses and salaries aren't unusual when a company's going through bankruptcy, especially when filing with courts in Delaware or New York, which Wisconsin-based Bon-Ton did.
When you've got a court such as this one is in Delaware that's kind of looking to attract the big cases, they're probably a lot more lenient on the dollar amounts.
Kirkman tells us companies also have an advantage by filing far from where employees might be upset.
They don't want employees, they don't want retirees showing up.
I'm sure we probably could have filled a bus of people that would have went there to make sure the employees were represented.
This once dedicated worker feels slighted and worried for those still trying to figure out what comes next.
I know that there are employees that are having to put their house up for sale, that are concerned about losing their home.
A Bon-Ton representative tells us by email retention incentives are, quote, common practice in situations where the goal is to continue. The company also says that bankruptcy courts give guidelines and limitations on what can be provided to associates and other interested parties. It says it picked Delaware because those courts are experienced in large retail reorganizations.
This is so challenging, Casey. Is there anything that workers who might be frightened this could happen to them, is there anything they can do to protect themselves?
It is complicated. The best protection is to have a contract that explains what severance you're entitled to. An employee handbook also works to ensure that protection, but when it comes to bankruptcy, there are laws that allow a company to get out of paying anything, even beyond that $12,850 cap we talked about.
Wow, troubling. Okay, Casey, thank you very much.
This story came to us through our Call for Action office. If you have a consumer issue and you need help, you can get in touch with them. The number's on your screen, 414-967-5495, or email callforaction@tmj4.com.